Now, as we all know, the world of Twilight Princess is quite dark and depressing. Nintendo was going for a more adult Zelda title after all. And out of all the places in this version of Hyrule, there's one that is the most unsettling and mysterious. The Snow Peak Ruins. This is a gigantic mansion filled with beautiful chandeliers, mesmerizing red carpets, and the most beautiful paintings. But all of that is quite deceiving. If you look past it all, you can see that it's falling apart all around you, with parts of the roof being gone, and that's just the beginning of it all. Clearly, no one has lived here for years. Well, at least no Hylians. Because currently it is home to a Yeti couple. The man is called Yeto, and he lives in a mansion with his wife Yetta. But they only inhabit the front rooms and the bedroom. And for good reason, because the rest of the mansion has become a creepy, dilapidated maze filled with the most awful monsters you can imagine. And these beings invaded the mansion after the second shard of the Mirror of Twilight came to rest there, which is radiating with dark energy, pulling in all this evil. However, once, this place probably served a very important role. But what was its role then? Well, many YouTubers have talked about this lonely old mansion on the mountain, and many have come up with certain explanations. However, today we will look into something that I haven't really heard before anywhere else. And this theory is more on the dark side. Now, one thing that people always mention is all the weapons found in the mansion itself. And that's just the beginning of it all, because there's so much more. Outside, you will find a bunch of cannons and balls you can shoot from it, and inside there are also huge suits of armor. So clearly, whoever lived here before was preparing for something. We don't know what, but it was something violent. And there are some wild speculations out there about who used to own this dark mansion that's armed to the teeth and filled with cells so they can lock people up. However, I think most of them are wrong. They miss one crucial point: all the paintings seen in the house. Now these are a bit creepy, especially the portraits that kind of stare at you at all times. Very unsettling, I would say. However, they also gave us more important information, because they show off certain characters and locations that only a handful of people really know about or have seen in their lives. So that gives us a good idea of who built this place originally and owned it. And personally, I think I know who it was. Now, the locations we see on these paintings haven't been seen in hundreds of years, maybe even more. We see paintings of what appears to be Ordon Ranch, Hyrule Castle, the Arbiter's Grounds, the Sacred Grove, and even the City in the Sky. Now sure, some of these places are incredibly well known, but others are only known to the Hyrulean royal family or people who were close to them. And aside from that, there are also two figures in some paintings who appear to be a knight-like character and possibly some kind of wise man. And for a long time, their true identity was unknown. But in Twilight Princess HD, we finally found out who it was. The first one ended up being Ratula, and the second one of the Wise Man, due to the new clarity, now resembles Rauru. And because of this, I think this mansion base used to belong to someone who was associated with the Hyrulean royal family, with one group actually being the best fit: the Knights of Hyrule.
Here's Knight of Hyrule.
Now in Twilight Princess, we don't actually see any members of this group, but Ashe's father is said to be a knight in his own right, and the hero of Twilight descended from the hero of Time, who is implied to be a descendant of those knights. So it could very well be that this mansion was one of their secret bases. They used to work closely with the Hyrulean royal family, sages, and even the Sheikah after all, but in the end they died out because of many conflicts and wars that they were a part of, and so places like this mansion are empty now. And to be honest, they weren't the only ones to meet this fate. The same happened to the Sheikah. So when walking through these halls, remember what actually happened here. Many probably died, but their armor, weapons, and other equipment are still found here after they fell. And in the end, the Yetis moved into this broken down base, unaware of its dark history. It all makes sense. The group was in the inner circle of the Hylian leadership, and so they knew about locations like the Arbiter's Ground and the City in the Sky. And it would also explain why the mansion is filled with weapons, cells, and suits of armor. It could even be that this was their main base back in the day, or a place where special forces were trained in the most tough conditions. It even has a huge courtyard of sorts in the middle, which would be perfect for practicing sword fighting and other things. But we can never be certain if this was their actual base. However, I'm quite sure of it. Phew! Well, howdy, partner. Thanks for all that. I gotta say, I was almost a goner because of that. Those bokoblins have been squatting here for days now, and I could never take them out on my own. But now that I think about it, what are you even doing here in the middle of nowhere? I thought I was the only one who knew about this old abandoned town. Wait, I bet you're here to figure out what happened to this old town. Or to demolish every building and then sell the ground like Doug Dimmadome.
Doug Dimmadome? The owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome?
That's right, Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome.
Grr, I hate that guy with his big hat that looks better than mine. Anyway, let me tell you about this place. It was built a long time ago. The world looked, very different. And this strange hidden village served as the main secret home to a bunch of strange folk called the Sheikah. Never heard of them before that. Now they aren't around anymore, and so ever since this old place has been abandoned. And so I decided to live here for free. Because believe me, those rent prices up there in Hyrule Castle are ludicrous. And the place is filled with bad eggs anyway. However, after living here for a couple of weeks, I stumbled upon some strange books, which actually explained what happened to the folk who used to live here. First of all, that sign that you walk past, well, apparently it says, "Welcome to Kakariko." And after looking at some maps, I found out there's another village called Kakariko which is populated, unlike this dang place. And so I was even more interested what the devil happened to those Sheikah folk who used to live up here, apparently. And according to those books, due to prolonged wars, the tribe dwindled and the town fell into decline, becoming infested with boblins and the like. So apparently that's what happened here. And I also looked into those fabled wars. Those apparently happened right before the Hero of Time appeared. The Sheikah were nearly wiped out defending the royal family of Hyrule during the big Hyrulean Civil War, where everyone was going after the triforce thing. Now that I think about it, it kind of reminds me of the Civil War, but that was just a couple of years ago. Anyway, I bet that explains why no one was here. They all died out. Or maybe the boblins got to them after all of that. The place is pretty beaten up, and there are some signs of combat here and there, like the boarded up windows and doors. And I bet after the whole Civil War, a lot of their best warriors just kinda died out. And so the remaining ones were also probably hurt to some extent, and didn't stand a chance against those incoming monster things. You shouldn't underestimate them after all. Sure, you beat them with ease, but they can be pretty nasty. Especially when they do a surprise attack with their bows. It's terrible. When I got in here, they shot at me. And so in the end, anyone who remained probably fled to the new Kakariko village. Although I heard that place is deserted now as well. But now that I think about it, the entrance to this place was blocked off. Now, I don't know how you got through it, but I ended up climbing. Which wasn't easy, but sorta doable. Although I have to be honest, I couldn't do it again. So it could be that this was the reason why those Sheikah folk died. They were trapped in here and eventually starved. But hey, what do I know? Well, that's all I got for you, friend. Now, you wanna head inside for a cup of joe? That way I can thank you. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. Please share these types of videos. They take extra effort, a lot more extra effort than you would ever imagine compared to normal scripts. So please share them around, leave a like, subscribe, bell button, comment something cool. Help out your boy.